inflation country. My name is Phil. This is the Fun with Bitcoin podcast. This is season 2, and we're in episode 47. So I hope everybody's having a great week. Just wrapped up a very amazing Lightning Node Roundtable number 5. So in this episode, you are going to hear from Roundtable, you're going to hear from Suheb, you're also going to hear from a new person joining the roundtable, Evan Kaludis from the Lightning Zeus team, who's doing some really interesting work there with the Zeus wallet, or the Zeus wallet, however you want to pronounce it. I'm actually going to be having a chat with him one-on-one next month, so definitely check that out. So he's going to be talking about integration working with C Lightning. We have OpenNoms, who's going to talk to us about Hack Day a bit and some of the developments that's been going on with him. Rootsal's going to talk to us about the Touch UI that's coming out from Frankie and the 1.4 Raspberry Blitz update. And a bunch of other things. I mean, I don't want to give it all away, but it's pretty amazing. Suheb is going to talk to us about updates from the Ride the Lightning interface, channel backups, and a new browser extension that essentially, it looks like it allows us to, it looks like we're able to, if I understood this correctly, it's not necessarily the browser extension, but Ride the Lightning Quick Pay is going to allow us not to need macaroons anymore for providing an invoice. So this could be very interesting. Anyways, he explains it much more elegantly than me. And yeah, so I've got a very interesting show for everyone. So without further ado, here is the Lightning Node Roundtable. All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining me on the Fun with Bitcoin podcast. I've got the Lightning Node Roundtable number 5. And joining us today, we've got Rootsall. We've got a new guest, Evan Kaludis from the Zeus team, the Lightning Zeus team. And we've got OpenNoms, and we've got Suheb from Ride the Lightning. So thank you guys all for joining me, and yeah, we're gonna get started right away with the with the updates and what's going on. Let's get started with Rootsall. All right, maybe we'll come back to him. He might be having a bit of an issue. So maybe we'll get started with Evan, because Evan's never been here before. And
hey,
Evan,
guys. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Big fan of, all your work. Yeah, where to begin? In the Lightning space, I'm working on this app called Zeus. Zeus is a cross-platform React Native app. So it works on Android and iOS, one code base, and basically allows you to connect remotely to your LND node. And yeah, I'm just trying to get the word out, have more Bitcoiners test it out, and hopefully get a couple more contributors to the project. So Zeus right now, it doesn't have a node built into it, so you're required to have an external node, full node running Lightning. Right now, it only supports LND, but an implementation to include C Lightning REST, which is Suheb's project, is underway. So that's about halfway done right now. Hoping to get that done soon. And yeah, it's just like an app for power users, people who have nodes, have set them up. Maybe that might change in the future, but for now, it's just focused on people running full nodes, people who want to connect to their nodes over Tor. At least on Android right now, we're going to be working on expanding that functionality to iOS as well. And we've got just support for things that'll help you with your privacy, like opening private channels and whatnot. So a lot of things have been built in, have been made with, privacy built in mind. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So does it? I'm sorry, maybe I didn't catch this at the beginning. Which nodes do you currently support? Like, do you connect up to the Raspberry Blitz? Do you connect up to the Nodl?
Oh, that's a great question. So right now it's only LND-based nodes, but we have some great integrations already. So if you have a Nodl, they'll generate the QR code that you need to scan. We've also got integrations with Raspberry Blitz. The QR code gets generated for that. We are also on my node BTC. If you get the premium version of that, they even generate the Tor QR code for you, which is fantastic. I think Raspberry Blitz and Noddle are going to be working on that too. And then lastly, we've got an integration with BTC Pay Server. So if you spin up a BTC Pay Server and you're using the LND default implementation, then you can connect to it remotely through that. They'll generate a QR code for you on the connections menu. So everyone's been super helpful in getting these integrations done, and we're very grateful for it.
Very cool, man. So what do you see coming down the pipeline for you? In terms of the Zeus project, like how far are you going to? What do you have in mind?
Well, there's a lot more stuff we want to build in for sure. So, C Lightning REST support, like I mentioned, that's underway. Also want to build in support for NFC so that you don't have to scan QR codes. I know Wallet of Satoshi has that built in, but it would be awesome to see more nodes go that route. There's some concerns about the security of it, but I think it's a little overblown. I think that would be a really cool experience, especially in today's age where people have these NFC credit cards and they're used to just putting it up to a payment terminal. I think that's the next logical step for making a standard in the Lightning community. Also want to sort of expand our Tor support, get it working on iOS. On Android, you can currently connect to your node over Tor with the Orbot app, but we want to build Tor directly into the app. And I just want to try to get a couple more contributors. More eyes on the code would be great, and try to make it a more smooth experience all around.
Cool. Very, very cool. I definitely look forward to checking it out. I have to be honest, I haven't checked it out yet. So, I definitely look forward to messing around with it. Sorry, Open Noms.
Cool.
Yeah, I can certainly say that is my go-to wallet on my phone. So, from the beginning, since Zeus came out, I started to use it and it just keeps improving. I mean, there is like fierce competition, isn't it? But everyone does it a bit differently, and I really like the kind of open, very flexible approach of Zeus, where it doesn't restrict what I can do or what I want to do. I can manage, multiple nodes, some of them on ClearNet, some of them on Tor from the same app, and it's just if I want to change my IP address, I just rewrite it. I don't need to. Don't need to scan a QR code again or go into a menu of my node at all. So it gives us a lot of freedom, and yes, all the views where you can see the channels broken down nicely, and see if some of them are hugely unbalanced or something. I just find it very useful. So that's why I was really concentrating on getting like a Tor connection into Raspberry Blitz as well. I mean, we have a guide on that. I just recently refreshed it to version 3 type hidden service connection. But yeah, I just I'd like to thank you, Evan. That's a great software. I love it.
Oh man, thank you so much for the kind words. Every time I hear about someone's experience with it and how they use it, how they like it, it really means a lot. It's something that really I just made for myself, really, out of necessity to connect to my node over Tor. So to hear that other people are using it and appreciating it, it really just means the world. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I certainly recommend to everyone. And I learned that on the Lightning conference that Stefan Rivera was using it over Tor during the wartime, and he had a lot of invoices to pay. So
yeah, that was really cool. I got to see him buy some beers or like one of the cocktails that they had named after him. It's cool. It's like he's in Germany, but he's has his node in Australia, so this payment is going across the world. It's quite crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. It's interesting, right? Like, because people don't even really know that they want that level of privacy. They don't even know that they need it. but it's very cool that we can, that you can offer that, and giving a better user experience about it. Like, it doesn't need to be something cryptic and difficult to use. So I definitely look forward to checking it out.
Yeah, totally. And I think Tor support is very important for Lightning nodes and should really be the default, especially since this is a device that's always on, that's, in most cases going to be in your house. You probably don't want to be exposing your home's IP address out to the world. So, Tor makes a lot of sense for that. And, it also goes so far in trying to, destigmatize Tor. A lot of people hear Tor and they think, oh man, well, what's this kid into? Like buying drugs on the dark web? It's like, no way, man. I don't want that. I just want to be able to connect to my house securely and be able to give out my address to people without them, hitting my home network and having to worry about that. So, hopefully we see more wallets embrace Tor and build that support in. And Zeus is just here to try to help pave the way and give other wallets a little kick in the ass to try to push things in that direction.
Cool. Here, let's see if we can get an update from Rootsall and the Raspy Blitz team. Oh, okay. We'll come back to Rootsall. Open Noms, how's it going, man?
Right, hello. It's very well. Busy times,
cool.
I can say.
So you guys, I mean, I didn't get to join you at LN conference, but I got to see some pictures of the table, and I got to see some of the stuff that you guys built. What have you been working on lately?
Oh, we've been just hacking with hardware a lot. I aim to try most of the things out which are coming, and which I can put my hands on. And then there is just just no stop, because so many cool projects are being built. As we've been mentioning before, the M5 stack, which is heavily kind of grown together with the Raspberry Blitz, as we can connect to it very easily with now the projects of Banach, BTC Socialist, or now with Norman Mickey as well from Lightning in a Box is building an M5 stack kind of implementation, which just generates invoices on your invoices connected to Raspberry Blitz. So I've been trying to build these and just make them easier to be set up for others as well. So opening issues, sorting out the little things. Also trying to work, obviously part-time, but as much as possible on the Raspberry Blitz, because this is again for myself, because that's my nodes which are set up, and then just want to use services which are coming to it, and now it's all scripted and ready for the next version, which I hope Rootsall will speak about. That managed to put the BTC RPC Explorer up, which allows you to be your own blockstream.info, your own blockchain explorer, looking into transactions and addresses based on your blockchain, which is downloaded and verified, and you're not leaking privacy and not leaking any information by looking up things. Also, there's been an ongoing Electrum server implementation, which is now again quite well tested, and a lot of people have tried it and use it, so that will come to be integrated into the Raspberry Blitz as well. BTC Pay server with a manual deployment. Yeah. With BTC Pay server, I've been doubly involved, because after the conference in Riga, I've been on a BTC Pay hack day as well, or a BTC Pay day, but I managed to get my hand on a Hacko, which is their node, which is a Rock Pro 64 node signed by hand by Nicolas Dorier. So it has high emotional value to we got a selfie with him. He has a golden signature on it. It's also been only sold for the cost of the hardware, so it was a really good deal. And so I run like a BTC Pay server instance on it, which I help the team to kind of test out the new features like they have done now, the new LND kind of rework when they make the seeds available for people who are running a Lightning node on BTC Pay server, which is a huge step, and it's been a big concern of mine, and has been solved now. But in any case, we can run BTC Pay server in slightly another way without Docker on the Raspberry as well. So that's something to come.
So is that going to be in 1.4?
Well, I think that's how it will code. How it will be called. It's I would be in for like kind of quicker, like more often being releases, so smaller releases more often. But obviously, it's always a trade-off between like the stability of the build and the kind of how quick we can go. So that's a root story, really. I hope we will hear from it about it from him, and then, well, I mean, lots of other things I can mention. I've started a little project which is based on some specifically designed cases for the Raspberry Blitz, which is now being sold at a website called DIYnodes.com. These cases are being manufactured, and it's very nice to look at. Just check it out. It's on my feed and also on this Twitter account, which is DIY Nodes. There, I'm planning to kind of provide some basically any hardware which can be built at home. I can build it. So, that will be kind of the theme of the site. So we'll see how it goes. It's just about to kind of start and hopefully take off.
Cool.
So yeah, I can go on for long. So after like a recap, we've been on the Lightning conference. Obviously, that's been great. I mean, that's been all the kind of source of the Raspberry Blitz, and the whole thing has been kind of grown out of that community, like from Fumo to obviously Rootsoul and the people who do participate there. We've been in the iconic room 77, where there is a Raspberry Blitz does power the whole kind of Lightning invoice infrastructure, where you can buy your drinks with Lightning, and many people, like I'm speaking of hundreds of people, were doing it for the days it was open during the conference as well. And then we managed to show some projects there as well, and meet a lot of interesting people. And then there was another little meeting in Birmingham in the UK, where there's been only like 8 exhibitors altogether, but we've been up there with. I brought a couple of Raspberry Blitzes, and my friend 21 is enough, he made this fantastic Lightning ATM with a coin acceptor and a little paper screen. So we put that together and managed to connect it to the Raspberry Blitz. So we had the full node, and we had the Lightning ATM and the POS device with the M5 stack on the same table. So basically, could demonstrate to people how we can how they can buy some satoshis with coins, and then how they can buy the coins back with just scanning a QR code from the M5 stack. With this, every information is just circulating in that little network which we created there. So that was exciting too.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So there I met Ben as well, who's been running workshops, and it's been a great crowd. So yeah, as I said, it's quite busy nowadays. I rather pass on the mic.
No, very cool, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I actually spoke with 21 is Enough. Yeah, man, I totally dig that project. I think it's so cool. I told him either you'll sell me one, or I'm gonna build one with your instructions. But I think it's super cool.
All right, let's see. Do you hear me?
Hey, there we go.
Finally.
Cool, finally.
Yeah, I had to change from Firefox to Safari. So yeah, I don't know. This Hangout and Firefox not becoming friends on my machine. So no, okay. So here I am perfectly.
So that's
yeah.
awesome.
let me fill you in because I had a kind of busy kind of last kind of weeks. A lot of was based on the Lightning conference we did in Berlin. So a lot of people already mentioned that. So it was a big event for us organizing. So I was in charge of the whole kind of stage 2 and the complete upper community floor where we had the hack table, where we had to chill out with the bar and all the stuff. So this was completely my managing area. So I had some stuff to organize before and even now after the conference. So it was an awesome time, but I didn't have much time for Raspberry Blitz in detail during that time. So pardon a little bit my inactivity on the GitHub for that time. So, but finally I'm starting to get back into the Raspberry Blitz kind of working mode. So and a lot of stuff already, and that's so great to see. Even if I'm kind of as the maintainer or kind of lead developer of the project, away from the project, people building stuff. So open arms. So great contributions there. Like seeing what you kind of contributed with the Explorer stuff and seeing the Zap app connecting through Tor and all this. So great little snippets to and scripts to that we all can. So we'll now start to integrate for the next version. Also from Frankie, we have now committed, and some people saw it on the Lightning conference already, the touch UI. So really coming nice together now, really with more and more touch interfaces to really on the touch screen that is on the Raspberry Blitz for a long time. So I think now with the 1.4, we might be confident enough to really put it on from the beginning, because there was touchscreen already kind of experimental in the 1.3.
Yeah.
But now, but you have to turn it on and just to experiment with it. But I think now really with the 1.4, we have to see and make last tests, but I can see it like being turned on from the beginning for the new version. So really coming together nicely there. And then I have to ask OpenArms. I was seeing on the Lightning conference, we're showing this great case. What is going on with the case? Can you give us a quick update on that? So when will we be able to get it, or where will we be able to get it?
Well, yes. Thanks for asking. I just mentioned it. You might have missed it very shortly, but yes. So there is this website started, which is called DIYnodes.com, where it's been already under pre-sale, and it's in the factory. It's being cut, painted. It has some manual work on it. It needs to be bent and has some soldering on it as well. So it is coming together, and it will be ready before Christmas.
That sounds good. Because for Christmas is also the time where I personally try to aim and hope that's that everybody else will agree on the timetable for Christmas to have the 1.4 kind of out. Maybe we'll try a little bit earlier, like beginning of December, have like early release candidates with some iterations in there of features for people to try out and to give feedback on, so that we can a little bit like get iterate ourselves to the 1.4 final release around Christmas. Because and then there is, between Christmas and New Year's, there's the Chaos Communication Congress again in Leipzig, so in Germany. And it's always this big event where all the hackers in Europe come together. And last time we were presenting the Raspberry Blitz there as a kind of very fresh project, and it gained a lot of interest. People looking at it, oh, what's this? Looking nice, and would be so great if we have the new case there. Also ready, we can show, like, we have the CryptoCloaks case, we have the new metal case, and so it would be great to show like the variety of stuff people were building and what's available now. So if you can get me some to Germany for Leipzig for Christmas, that would be so great. It would be my personal Christmas present. So keep that in mind.
Well, would be very happy to. It is aimed to be done by the beginning of December, but I cannot like overpromise it. So we say that by the middle of December it should be out and be ready to be shipped. So within Europe it shouldn't be more than a couple of days to get. So definitely, I hope we make enough of them with the first batch. But we'll definitely put some aside for you as well.
All right, perfect. Maybe I use my chance to throw some questions around. Evan, we have you here on the call. That's great. I want to ask a bit like how much, because a lot of other wallets experimenting with the LNURL stuff. So how is that going on the Zeus wallet? Is there anything already in there? Is there any plans to do it? Well, maybe just get me up to speed a bit on that.
Yeah, sure thing. So LNURL is something we definitely want to implement. It's something that I don't really know all the ins and outs of, but I've seen some of the use cases and it's been intriguing, especially stuff like withdrawals. We have one contributor, Fiat Jaff, who put a preliminary pull request into it, but he wanted to refactor some stuff and extend the functionality. So I'm not exactly sure when we're going to get it in, but it's definitely on the radar, and it's something I would definitely love to have in the app. Definitely.
All right, perfect. Thanks. All right. So, and maybe if there's any further questions for me personally, I'm free. But maybe we try to hand over to Zuhab again. So, because I would be also very interested to see what happened with RTL, because when we now get to the next Raspberry Blitz version, also want to know what we maybe have to keep in mind for that, what is coming up, what's maybe to integrate, and what's to be happy about.
So one quick question.
Yeah.
So I love the new Raspberry Blitz case that OpenArms has got on the site. DIY nodes look sick. I was curious about that touchscreen functionality. What kind of different screens can you navigate through on there? I only have like a Raspberry 3 sitting around, and it's got like a regular screen on it. So, maybe it'll be something I upgrade to. But so what do I get with that touchscreen? What kind of screen can I navigate through?
So I personally have to check now the latest commits from Frankie, but the what I was seeing is like you have the basic, like you can shut it down. That's you have a button to shut it down. It was already in the 1.3 version, but now it's a little bit more improved. You can have more options like to restart it, to shut it down. And to have it a little bit more bigger buttons, so it's more optimized for that situation. It's a feature a lot of people ask about because there's not an easy way to shut it down without SSHing in, so it's very complicated sometimes. And to have really a button on the device really to shut it down cleanly and so that nothing gets corrupted when you cut out the power. That's very important. Then there's some possibilities to create invoices directly on the device, like on the QR code. Like you can preset an amount on the configuration file, and then you can get very quickly an invoice. So this is a good, nice thing if you want to do a donation kind of thing. So if you're presenting it and you want to present very quickly a donation or something like that, and then there's more and more buttons like in there that you can then use later on for getting more information about the device. But this is more what we're iterating now, so that you can see more what's happening on your device and yet get more informed in a better way. Just not having this one static screen, getting you more kind of information on your Raspberry Blitz.
Cool. Have you guys thought about adding like some sort of authentication on that layer on the touchscreen, or is it thinking that the functions on there really aren't as sensitive, like not giving up the connection stuff, or is it you guys thinking like once you have physical access to the machine, it's you're pretty much compromised anyway?
I think the idea is I always had in the beginning, because the screen, normally the screen is part of the Raspberry Blitz setup, but some people use it without a screen. So it's always in my mind, like thinking about not making the screen too much and dependable on the processes. But I think we can use it for some authentication in the beginning. For example, if we want to go at one point with a browser login or whatever, there will be some information you maybe just see on the screen and you have to type in the browser to really see that you are legit or something like that. So I think for some processes like that, it can make sense. For further authentication, what do you have in mind? Do you have something special in mind?
Nothing particularly. I've just maybe like a pin or something. I'm not sure. I have a cybersecurity background, so I'm always thinking adversarially of how someone go and mess stuff up.
Now that you mention it, maybe something like unlocking or something could be interesting. Because always, like, if you really you unlock your LND wallet, that's always something when you restart your device. That's something where you have to SSH into to do it. So maybe there could be some way to use some kind of a pin thingy to that you can punch in through the LCD and then unlock your wallet. That could be an interesting topic. So there needs to be something like you store the password encrypted on your on your SD card with the pin, and then you have to use the pin or something. But there's a trade-off. So the pin needs to have some length to be resistant. So we have to think through if this makes sense but at least better than auto unlocking it. So if a lot of people auto unlock their device. OpenArms, do you have any kind of ideas or adding to this, to the pin idea?
Yes, I mean, I was thinking of this a lot, but I mean, it already does things. So the one more function which it does that it shows you the URI of your Lightning node. So someone approaches it can actually open a channel to it,
right,
which is not a security concern. And then what we use this screen a lot for, and I think which would be extended further, that for pairing the mobile wallets, especially like Zeus, but Zap, and any other things which can be paired, like now we are planning to add the fully noded, for example, for iOS and things like that. I mean, these pairing QR codes would be triggered by the SSH login. So, you cannot just get into the node or can't just have the admin macaroon exposed if you just, standing next to it. But the screen itself is very useful for that. And also now we have, every new service I was working on, all of them are implemented in a way that they have automatically setting up a Tor hidden service as well. So that kind of version 3 services is a long set of numbers and letters. So those could be communicated to a mobile phone as well, for example, through the screen with a QR code. So when you want to use your RTL or BTC RPC Explorer or even Electors and things like that remotely, you could scan the hidden service from the screen and then go like that. But yes, this is not the authentication part, but we are limiting in that we have this 3.5-inch screen, and the buttons should be like at least like 1 square centimeter big, because it's not a very accurate screen. So indeed, a numpad might play, but we certainly cannot get on like a QWERTY keyboard, for example. So
yeah,
that's the limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not without a pen.
Well,
yeah,
even it's a resistive screen, so it's not like your mobile phone, which is a capacitive screen. It won't have that much resolution in the touch either. But we have a pen supplied with it already, so it's kind of a touch thing, but it's not really more useful than your finger.
Yeah, exactly. I still wouldn't want to be dependent on the screen, Like, the screen is cool. I obviously love the way it even makes the node look, like what you can do with cases, like for the aesthetic. It's cool that we can add functionality, but
yes.
But yeah.
The most important for me is the actual, what we had already, and from the beginning is the status screen, which then, in later iterations, it can be played with. So we could change to different kind of displays, which do display more about the services we are running, for example, or well, more the Bitcoin side, because now we are like concentrating on Lightning mostly, like displaying the peers and the connections channels, but we can display the block height. People were asking if we could display the price and things like that. I mean, with buttons now we can change screens, so we don't need to like cram everything into one. So you might be in the future be able to choose your own
Your own
according
theme.
to your own liking. Yeah, but not yes.
Well,
like different stages.
in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some people don't want to see that status. Like some people just want to see a Bitcoin price with like the block height. So maybe they can use a different screen for that.
Yes.
You know?
But also what I was thinking, some don't want to have the actual light on the screen. We cannot really switch it off completely by software because it's a kind of a simple thing. But we can, for example, put up a big black button as a screensaver, and then if you touch it, it just kind of wakes up and displays you the status of whichever you like. That would be something which in the future could be done.
That's pretty cool. For the, I just want to make sure for the Raspberry Blitz, you're saying Christmas 1.4 maybe?
Yeah, we aiming for that. So,
okay.
So I think we should see release candidates before that, so you can see a little bit what's coming on. So, and if you get a good feeling about it for Christmas, because I want to have a version also for the Chaos Communication Congress ready. So, and that's the kind of Christmas timeline. So something will be final about that time. So,
I'm definitely the reason why I'm asking is because that's when I have my next vacation. So yeah, I want to make sure I have a lot of time to mess with it. All right,
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead. Here, let's.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Right. Sorry about that.
No worries.
This is maybe third time is a charm. Right. So in terms of updates, right? There's been a lot of action since the last roundtable. In terms of the functional features that we've added on RTL, now we have the backup and restore functionality, which I wanted to actually touch upon. And I think BTC Pay Server was testing the backup feature now. They think they're adding the ability to, initiate the node within mnemonic seed, cipher seed, and then, ability that will allow the ability to kind of restore the channels as well if, there is a loss of the node. So RTL has the option to restore from the channel backup files. But the reason why I wanted to touch upon that is if you are taking a backup from RTL, right, it uses a REST API. If you are using a default channel backup file from LND, that is a gRPC output. And these two outputs, while we were testing, are not interoperable. So if you are taking an output from the REST API, you have to restore with REST APIs. If you are taking an output from gRPC APIs, you have to restore with the gRPC APIs or command line. So between command line and gRPC, there is interoperability, but the REST API output is not interoperable with gRPC or command line output. So that's why when we added the backup feature, we added a restore feature as well. But initially, we were struggling to make that restore feature work. But now we have it working since the release 5.2. So that's why I wanted to kind of make that point. I know there was some Twitter conversation around that. So with version 5.2, if you're taking the backup from RTL's menu feature, then you can use the restore menu to restore in case you are recovering the node. So that was one feature improvement that we had since the last release. Now, in terms of development, I know Rudzol wanted to touch upon that. There's one new plugin, or rather a browser that we have created, which is actually a simple payment mechanism, which uses RTL's Node.js middle layer to allow payment features. So you can use your RTL to make payments. And you don't have to it's a simple utility function which will allow you to make payments, if you have RTL running. And if you need, RTL, or if you need to access more advanced features, you can anyway open RTL's interface and access advanced features. So RTL Quick Pay is that browser extension to make payments using RTL. The difference, here is primarily that if you're using that extension, you don't have to have macaroons on your device to make payments, right? Uh, that was with Joule, you need macaroons on your device to make payments, right? With this RTL Quick Pay, you don't have to distribute macaroons on all your devices that you're using to make payments from. And also, if you have a C Lightning node running, you make payments through C Lightning as well. So, Joule only works with LND so far. So that's another advantage of RTL Quick Pay.
Wow.
So yeah, so those are the two important things, new developments. The third thing that we are working on now, and we are exclusively focused on that now, is our UX redesign. And that is the project in full swing at this point in time. And hope we are quite excited about the design approach that we are taking, and quite excited with the design inputs that we are getting from Diogo Sergio. It's been really amazing. Every weekend we get up in the morning, have a design session, review sessions. We look at each and every functionality of RTL in detail, assess it from user experience perspective. How to reduce the complexity on the screen, how to make it more intuitive, what persona to address, right? So a lot of these questions, each and every page we are going through that, and changing and refreshing the UI. So I wanted to touch upon two important aspects that we are focusing on while we are doing it. From a persona perspective, there are two personas that we are focusing on to design the dashboard and all the interfaces. So one persona is the routing node operator persona, which is kind of a power user, looking at all the technical aspects of the node, and tracking the fees, tracking the routing volume, and tweaking fees, etc. So basically, that routing node operator persona and the dashboard for that persona. The second persona is the merchant node operator persona, which is primarily coming from BTC Pay Server, where their focus is, how much they can receive, how much they can send, ability to quickly access payments, quickly access invoice. So, basic functionality from a merchant's perspective. So we'll have custom dashboards for these two personas. You will be able to switch between those two dashboards, and then you'll have the detailed functionality, which will be, which is being redesigned so that the look and feel is much more polished. The user experience is much more pleasant and less confusing, and more intuitive, basically. Those are the upgrades.
That is very cool. Very, very cool stuff. I like the idea of being able to do the transactions without the macaroons. That's pretty big, because I have to say that is a limiting. I think anyways a bit of a limiting factor in the user experience. Which again, I mean, we don't expect end users to be moving, copying and pasting macaroons out of their Raspberry Blitzes and stuff like that. But at the same time, for those of us that are doing this right now, it's like you can't use a terminal device without that. So it's very cool. And I like the conversation that you're doing behind the personas. To be honest, I couldn't word it very well in the Telegram group, but that other gentleman that you're working with, really hit it all spot on. One of the guys, man, that was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy says everything properly.
Yeah, he's Pav. Pav is one of the core contributors on BTC Pay Server, right? So that's what he deals with every day. His inputs were definitely valuable.
I was like, oh my god! I'm like, he just I just sat there and I was like, you want a reporting dashboard, and obviously you're like, what do you want to see? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Reports.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, this is exactly what you want to see. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It was like, oh my god. So I can't wait for that, man. It's really cool what you guys are doing.
Quite excited about the new design. Hopefully, people will like it. We are looking at the timelines, which I think timeline design to launch. We might actually put out a release candidate so that we can have some testing with the initial alpha users, so that if there are any design tweaks which need to make, we can make it in time. But I'm quite excited about it. It's going to be quite polished and very different experience than what you have seen so far on RTL, which is pretty raw, or even though functional, but kind of raw user experience.
Very cool. Very, very cool, man. Thank you so much. So let me ask you this. I just want to know for the 1.4 release that Rootsall and the team is planning. What functionality? Because you were talking about the personas and everything. So I don't know about that. What's that timeline like? Like that's not going to be in 1.4, right? That's like future, more out.
So, what is the timeline for 1.4? I'm not sure.
He said around Christmas, I believe, but I don't want to speak for him.
Yeah, so we can target.
No pressure.
No, yeah, that's fine. We can target that timeline. Actually, we are in full swing right now. We have completed our payments pages, invoice pages. We are currently working on the dashboard and the channel management pages. Once that is done, the main functionality will be done. After that, we'll be ready to kind of create a release candidate and then kind of tweak it, refine it, so that I think hitting the Christmas timeline is reasonable. But yeah, and the only thing is we go through each and every functionality in detail. So we kind of agonize over the features that we are tweaking, so that user experience is optimal, and that's where Diogo has been super helpful, because he comes with that UX background, so he pays attention to each and every small detail, and that's how you make the user experience better.
I totally.
Yeah, perfect. It would be so great when you can hit the Christmas timeline, so that we can sneak it into the 1.4 release of Raspberry Blitz. So that would be awesome. So let me know. So
sure, definitely. And if what we can do is also share some UX mockups with you earlier. If you have design inputs, any ideas that if you want to provide on that, we'll share those mockups on the Telegram chat. So feel free to chime in and provide your inputs.
All right, thanks. Cool.
Yeah, and Rootsall, I mean, the RTL Quick Pay is something that maybe you can look at, making it part of Raspberry Blitz stack. The advantage is that I don't know what your plans are for C Lightning. That's one option. There's no browser extension for C Lightning so far for payments, so that's one advantage with RTL Quick Pay. And second advantage, like I said, is user do not need macaroons to make payments, just to make Lightning payments, and it also supports the Lightning URL. So, it's an easy and quick way to make payments through your node.
Here, something to play with. So, but I did I understand it correctly. It's a browser extension. So,
yes.
And there's some pairing or some configuration of the browser extension where the Raspberry Blitz can help out, or is this all done through the RTL, or? Well, what part can we help on from the Raspberry Blitz side to integrate it better?
Sure. The only thing that you need to do is the user needs to install the extension. Actually, there's nothing required at the Raspberry Blitz end, really. I think what you need to do is just enter your URL when you open the extension. Just enter the URL, and that's it. You can as long as the extension can access the URL on the network, you can make the payments. It's as simple as that.
All right,
and then
okay.
you have to
That's cool.
You have to enter your user ID, the password, the user password that you use to access RTL. The same password will be used, and you can make the payments with that. So it's quite simple.
Okay, that sounds good. Perfect.
That is really cool, and that's going to help people out a lot instead of having to go and fetch macaroons. So guys, we're coming up on an hour. Do we have anything else to share, or do we all want to wrap it up?
I just wanted to quickly check, what everybody's thoughts are on features like loop out, loop in. Is there any demand or any feature request? There's no UI solution right now, supporting loop in, loop out. So I'm just curious about that. If there's any need or latent demand that you see on that.
Yeah, there's definitely demand on it, because from the Room 77 scenario side, because the beginning was the idea to setting it up with the POS and all this stuff, but now that we see we have it in production, we exactly come into the area where the merchant sees, oh, my inbound capacity is filling up, and I want to have an easy process to just recycle those inbound capacity. And the loop out service, something, a limit you can set or push, like automatically triggering at one point, and you can set through an UI like RTL, would be perfect. So I think the loop services are one services we're looking at to put into one of the next versions of Raspberry Blitz. 1.4 would be great. We have to see if it fits in there. But it's one thing that's really needed from the merchant kind of side. So, and if there's any kind of UI support for configuration, because I think when we would do it for the Raspberry Blitz in the beginning, it will be something you set in the configuring file. That's not very nice for the beginning, but just to see if it's working. And then having some UI level there would be very helpful. And if this is somewhere in RTL, that would be great.
Yeah, it's in our roadmap, definitely. I'm working, I'm right now testing it. So I'm thinking of, I don't want to commit right now, but our plan is to, when we are revising the UI, we want to add this additional functional feature, at least add loop out, if not loop in, which is what merchant needs for inbound capacity. So that is the plan right now. We'll keep you updated if we can make that in the end of the year release.
Wow, that would be great.
Sure.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
So, but even I know it's a lot of work. So if it's happening, that's awesome. But really, if you see it gets too much work, push it to a next release. Also great. So thank you.
So the idea was to, once we are done with the UX, that was the next feature we wanted to add. But right now, I'm considering whether we can kind of package the whole thing together, so that it'll be a nice feature which will be coming with the new UI as well. That's the idea.
Nice.
I mean, I've been playing with the loop out function, and I mean, what you need and what we can do with the Raspberry Blitz, that it can certainly run this loop daemon, and make it available for RTL to communicate with, because otherwise because it's not just LND you need, it does need this extra software to be set up.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Cool. Thanks. That's the update.
All right, cool. So so if you guys have nothing further, then we'll wrap it up. Thank you everybody for joining on another episode of the Lightning Node Roundtable. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to next time, guys, which will probably be around, maybe like just after the new year. So we'll see what's happening then. It'll be after 1.4 release, and we'll see what's going on.
That sounds good. Perfect. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, though, everybody. Great Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Time flies.
See ya.
See you.
Hope everybody enjoyed that episode. We kind of had some people dropping out, so I definitely did the best that I could with the editing. So, but it was pretty funny stuff. Anyways, all the contact information will be in the show notes, and of course, if you want to get in touch with me on Twitter or Telegram, I'm at CoinIcarus. If you want to shoot me an email, it's funwithbitcoin@protonmail.com. If you want to support the show, you can head over to moedarags.com and go to All Clothing and Fun with Bitcoin, and you can check out the merch for my podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time.